Hi everyone, my name is T. Botnick and I use they, them pronouns. And I'm here to talk a little bit about how to pledge. I know everybody's been talking about why to pledge, but I think that for a lot of people, when we're talking about combining our values and money and math, that feels really overwhelming. So I wanted to break it down into a few easy steps. You may have heard people talking about the suggested fair share giving guide that the Unitarian Universalist Association has put together. You can find this by Googling UUA Fair Share Giving Guide. However, once you're looking at this table, you might still find this overwhelming because it's still just a bunch of numbers. So I wanted to break it down even more. Let's start with this column, the annual adjusted income. How do you find that? So step one, find your pay stub. Generally, the most recent one is good. And then what you're looking for in that pay stub is your net pay. So what do you make after the taxes are taken out and your deductions for health insurance and all that kind of stuff are taken out? Once you find your net pay, then you're going to multiply that either by 52 if you're paid weekly, or 26 if you're paid biweekly, or 12 if you're paid monthly. And that will give you your total adjusted income. Once you have your adjusted income, there's a second step. You need to think about some additional context than just your income. So, for example, a lot of us have privileges or disadvantages in our society that are structural and a bit out of our control that add to the picture of our total family wealth. So, a friend of mine runs an apothecary business, and she has this contextual sliding scale guide that I thought would be useful for us to think about as context to our income. So if you're thinking about the Fair Share Giving Guide, think about the columns in the Giving Guide and whether you're going to move to the left or the right on those columns, given this additional context. So some examples to this context are if you're supporting children or other dependents, or if you have debt, or you have medical expenses that aren't covered by insurance, or you have incarceration history that makes it difficult to find work, or you don't have personal savings or a 401k or intergenerational wealth. On the other side, if you own the home you live in, if you have investments or a 401k, if you have intergenerational wealth, if you travel for fun, if you work part-time, and you're able to still maintain a lifestyle, including being fully enrolled in school. Or if you have a relatively high earning power, but you're perhaps not choosing to exercise it right now, but you still have that power given your education, your gender, your race, etc. Once you have this context, then you can go back to the Giving Guide. So now we know our adjusted annual income, and then we know what column of the Giving Guide that we want to use. And from there, we can find about what percent the UUA suggests that you should be donating and what that monthly amount will look like. So I hope that you found this mini tutorial helpful in breaking down the steps of how to live out your values and give generously and not be overwhelmed by them.